My beloved child, I have heard the sighs that rise from you in the silent night, the heavy breaths that have no words, the quiet spaces where your heart wants to cry out, but your lips remain still. Do not think I am far away. At the very moment you feel most exhausted, I am sitting beside you, listening to the faint rhythm of your heart, watching every small movement in the body my own hands have formed. You think this weariness is merely the result of time, but I tell you it is a cry for help from your very body, a creation trying to awaken your spirit to something deeper. There has been a misalignment between what you do and what your body truly needs. You have used determination in place of listening, and now your body speaks in the language of fatigue. I do not blame you, my child. I know you have tried. You have lived with pain as though it were an inevitable part of existence. You have convinced yourself that if you endure just a little longer, everything will be fine. But hear me, I did not create you to endure. I created you to live, to breathe freely, to feel life flowing through every cell. When you ignore the gentle signals of your body, you unintentionally silence your soul as well. For body and soul are never separate. When one grows weak, the other trembles. That is why I come not only to heal physical pain, but to restore harmony between your body and your spirit, between what is seen and what is sacred, and unseen, which you have forgotten. Remember, I breathed life into dust, so that you might become a living being. That breath still dwells in you, and though it may have grown faint under the weight of years, it remains the holy imprint of my presence. Yet that breath must be awakened again. You have lived in haste, letting your heartbeat follow the restless rhythm of the world. You have fed your body in a hurry and drained your soul with worry. I do not condemn you, but I invite you stop. Place your hand upon your chest and feel that rhythm, the rhythm I set from the beginning. Every beat is a reminder that you are still chosen to live, to renew, to return. I see the deep place within your belly, the seat where energy once flowed freely, now filled with tension and constriction. I see your blood grow heavy, your breath shortened, your mind clouded. You call it fatigue, but I call it the body's prayer. Your body is seeking to find again the sacred rhythm I placed in it at creation's dawn. You are not weak for needing healing. In truth, you are entering a deeper maturity, the place where you understand that rest is also obedience. When you release control, I can act. When you fall silent, I can speak. My child, your body is not a burden to suppress. It is the temple of the Holy Spirit, and when that temple cracks, I do not abandon it. I enter in to cleanse, to restore, to rekindle the lamp that has dimmed. I come not merely to soothe, but to rebuild. My healing does not begin outside. It begins within, in the place where your faith trembles yet still lives. Do not despise that small flicker. A mustard seed of faith can move mountains, and it can also recreate a weary body. When I see you standing before the mirror, forcing a smile at your reflection, I do not see weakness. I see a warrior who has stood firm through a long storm. But now victory is no longer found in fighting. It is found in letting me fight for you. Let me handle what you have clung to, the exhaustion, the anxiety, the unhealed wounds. Let me place my hand upon your lower abdomen, where the energy has been blocked, where the blood has grown heavy, where emotions have been buried. And I declare, be restored. Hear me, I never designed illness as punishment, but as a signal calling you back to me. When the body can no longer submit, it becomes an invitation for the spirit to listen. Today I come not to accuse, but to realign what has been lost. As I once promised in Isaiah 5:8-11, the Lord will guide you continually. He will satisfy your soul in drought and strengthen your bones. Yes, I will do this for you. Your bones will be renewed. Your blood will flow freely like rivers restored after a dry season. Your breath will lengthen deep calm at peace, and your soul will move in harmony with what I am doing. You once thought that health came only from diet, rest, or exercise, but I tell you, true health begins in unity with my spirit. When your spirit rests in grace, your body follows into restoration. When you trust in my presence, your blood moves with peace. When you learn to breathe in faith, every cell in you responds with life. This is not a metaphor, it is a holy reality already at work within you. My beloved child, I have seen you stay awake through many nights, not because of work, but from the quiet fear that your own body is betraying you. Yet, my child, I did not design your body to fight against you. It is not your enemy. It is calling out to be loved, to be heard, to be brought home. Speak to yourself with the tenderness I have taught you. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139:1-4. When you say this, you are agreeing with my design. And in that agreement, the door to restoration begins to open. You do not need to know every cause. I already know. You do not need to understand every biological process. I wrote them myself. What I ask is surrender. Each morning before you rush into the day, yield to my presence. Take a few moments to breathe with me, to feel the breath of life moving through every part of you. Let this be your act of worship, for every conscious breath is a declaration that you still belong to life. And in that belonging, I will restore what has been lost. Prepare your heart for a new journey. This path will not demand your strength, but your softness. It will not ask for striving, but for surrender. It will not call you to run, but to pause, so that I may go before you. Each day I will show you one small thing to change a habit, to release a choice, to realign a perception, to renew. Do not dismiss these small adjustments, for through them I am rewriting life within you. As when I touched the blind man's eyes with clay, healing did not come in an instant, but layer by layer the veil lifted until light broke through. So it is with you, my light is entering every part of you slowly but surely. Do not compare yourself to anyone else. Every body is a unique language I use to converse with each soul. What others call normal may not be what I designed for you. You were formed with your own rhythm, your own cycles, your own way of recovery. Honor that. Listen to it. Let it lead you back to me. Remember, weariness is not a sign of failure, but a bell calling you back to the divine source of energy. I do not need you stronger, I need you truer. Tell me when you are tired. Name your pain instead of hiding it. Cry if you must, for your tears are a language I understand. I do not despise weakness. I use it as the doorway through which I enter more deeply into you. So today I call your breath back. I call life back to the places where it slowed. I call energy back into every cell. I call light back into every neglected corner. This is the morning of restoration, not tomorrow but now. You no longer need to live as one who endures, but as one who is loved and being reborn. I am here in the heartbeat, in the breath, in the bloodstream, and I say, live. My beloved, I see within your body silent battles you have not yet named. Cells struggling to preserve life while surrounded by fatigue and pressure. Organs laboring beyond their strength just to keep you standing. I see your heart pounding harder when anxiety rises, your liver straining to filter what should never have entered, your intestines tightening under burdens you dare not speak. Your body is speaking the language of unexpressed emotion, and I understand every word of it, for I am the one who wrote the language of life itself. You have lived long without granting yourself true rest. You call brief sleep recovery, yet your spirit has not known peace. I have watched you hold yourself together with reason hiding exhaustion behind willpower. But reason cannot replace breath, and willpower cannot replace my presence. You may remain upright for a time, but you cannot truly live apart from the source of life. Like a tree that still bears green leaves though its roots are dry, you will one day realize you cannot sustain yourself forever. And I, who formed every root within you, am calling you back to the spring I prepared for both soul and body. Remember, healing is not magic, it is covenant. It begins the moment you allow me to touch the places you have hidden. There are parts of you that have closed in fear, regions of your soul, numbed by pain. But I am not afraid of those places. I enter them like a skilled craftsman, not with the hammer of judgment, but with the hands of grace. I come not to expose your faults, but to restore order. When you let me open the locked doors within your soul, the flow of life begins to move again through your body. For every blockage in the body begins with a blockage in the spirit. Look into the mirror, not with judgment, but with the eyes of one who is loved. Do not be ashamed of the marks upon your body, for every scar tells the story of faithfulness. You have fought many battles and your body bears their record. But do not let the past become a weight, let it become a testimony. I once used the wounds of the Lamb to redeem the world. So do not despise your own pain. Place it in my hands, and I will make it the dwelling place of my power. My beloved child, I have seen you stay awake through countless nights, not because of work, but from that quiet, shapeless fear that your own body is turning against you. But my child, I did not design your body to betray you. It is not your enemy. It is calling out to be loved, to be heard, to be brought home. Speak to yourself with the gentleness I have taught you. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139:1-4. When you say these words, you agree with my design. And in that agreement, the door to restoration begins to open. You do not need to know every reason. I already know. You do not need to grasp every biological process. I wrote them. What I ask of you is surrender. Surrender to my presence each morning before the rush begins. Take a few moments to breathe with me, to feel that sacred breath moving through you. Let that be your act of worship, for every conscious breath is a declaration I still belong to life. And in that belonging I will restore what was lost. Prepare your heart for a new journey. This path will not demand your strength, but your softness. It does not call for struggle, but for surrender. Not for running, but for stopping so that I may walk before you. Each day I will show you one small thing to shift a habit, to release a choice, to realign a way of seeing, to renew. Do not overlook the smallness of these things, for through them I am rewriting life within you. Like when I touched the blind man's eyes with clay, the healing did not happen all at once, but layer by layer, the darkness gave way until the light poured in. So it will be with you. My light will move through you, slowly, steadily, faithfully. Do not compare yourself to others. Everybody is a unique language I use to converse with each soul. What the world calls normal may not be what I designed for you. You were made with your own rhythm, your own cycles, your own way of renewal. Honor it. Listen to it. Let it lead you back to me. Remember, this weariness is not a mark of failure. It is a bell calling you back to the sacred source of energy. I do not need you stronger. I need you truer. Tell me when you are tired. Name your pain instead of hiding it. Weep when you must, for your tears are a language I understand. I do not despise weakness. I use it as the doorway through which I enter more deeply into you. So today I call your breath back. I call life back to the places where it has slowed. I call energy back into every cell. I call light back into every forgotten corner. This is the morning of restoration, not tomorrow, but now. You no longer need to live as one who endures, but as one who is loved and being reborn. I am here in your heartbeat, in your breath, in your bloodstream, and I say, live. My beloved, I see within you the silent battles you have not named. Cells fighting to preserve life, though surrounded by fatigue and pressure. Organs working beyond their limits just to keep you upright. I see your heart race when fear rises, your liver straining to purify what should never have been there, your intestines tightening around words you could not speak. Your body is speaking the language of unexpressed emotion, and I understand every syllable, for I am the author of the language of life. You have gone long without allowing true rest. You call short sleep recovery, yet your spirit has not known quiet. I have watched you hold yourself together with logic hiding exhaustion behind willpower. But will cannot replace breath and reason cannot replace my presence. You can stand for a time, but you cannot truly live apart from the source. Like a tree that looks green while its roots run dry, you will find that you cannot hold yourself forever. And I, who planted your roots, am calling you back to the living water I carved for both soul and body. Healing, my child, is not magic. It is covenant. It begins the moment you allow me to touch the places you have hidden. Some parts of you have closed from fear. Others are numb from old wounds. Yet I am not afraid of them. I enter like a skilled artisan, not with the hammer of punishment, but with the hands of grace. I do not come to expose your faults, but to restore divine order. When you let me unlock the sealed rooms of your soul, life will begin to flow again through your body, for every physical blockage begins first as a spiritual one. Look into the mirror, not with judgment, but with the eyes of one who is loved. Do not be ashamed of your body's marks, for every scar tells a story of endurance. You have fought many battles, and your body bears the proof. But let those marks become testimony, not burden. I once used the wounds of the Lamb to redeem the world. So do not despise your own pain. Hand it to me, and I will make it the dwelling place of my power. You have prayed for healing, yet still you hold fear close. I want you to understand, faith and control cannot coexist. You cannot give something to me while clutching it in your hands. Let go. Open your palms. For when you release, you receive. I cannot fill a vessel that is sealed tight. Let your tears fall, slow your breathing, and whisper, "Only this, Lord, I surrender." At that moment I will begin to move. You may not feel an explosion of miracles, but a deep peace will settle over you. That peace is the sign that I am touching the hidden depths. Do not fear the process. True healing is not the disappearance of pain, but the transformation of your relationship to it. When you learn to see pain as a messenger instead of an enemy, you will begin to hear my voice through it. Sometimes I do not remove pain immediately, for I am using it to teach you what nourishes and what destroys. As Paul wrote in 2 Corinthians 1:2-9, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Yes, it is in your weakness that you will see me stronger than ever before. Your body is the soil in which I have planted the seed of life. Every organ, every cell, every drop of blood carries the echo of my first command, "Let there be life." And today I speak it again, not into the universe, but into you. I speak to your heartbeat in peace, to your lungs open in freedom, to your liver be cleansed in grace, to your gut rest from anxiety, and to your whole being I say, return to the rhythm of creation. You cannot hear this with your ears, but your spirit will sense it. You will find yourself responding differently to the things that once drained you. Your body will begin to guard itself against what is toxic. You will crave purer water, gentler air, kinder words. This is not the product of willpower, it is the fruit of a body returning to its creator. I know at times you doubt your capacity to recover. You think it is too late, that age or genetics have sealed your fate. But I, the living God, am not limited by years or DNA. I caused Sarah to bear a child in old age. I brought dry bones to life in Ezekiel's valley, and I can cause the weary cells within you to awaken with new strength. Do not say it is too late while I am still speaking life. Seek healing not merely to escape pain, but to know me more deeply. The purpose of miracles is not only the mending of the body, but the restoration of communion. I do not want you merely well, I want you aware of who I am in the very process of making you whole. Each time you choose faith over fear, gratitude over complaint, you are co-creating with my spirit the renewal of your flesh, your muscles, your bones. So bless your body. Each morning, when you see your reflection, do not begin with criticism. Say, "I was made in love, and this body is the witness of that love." When you speak this, your cells listen. When you forgive yourself, your immune system is freed. When you love yourself rightly, your hormones find balance. This is the miracle of life. Every spiritual truth is mirrored in the physical. I will guide you step by step, showing you what nourishes and what depletes. I will give you wisdom to choose what gives life rather than what steals it. You will see that my wisdom is not detached from your daily living. When you eat, when you sleep, when you move, I am there. I am not only in sanctuaries, I dwell in each breath, in every cell, in each small decision you once thought trivial. Healing, my child, is not born in a single dramatic moment, but in thousands of quiet choices to trust, to pause, to listen, to love. That is the greater miracle, the miracle of sustained restoration. It does not shout yet, it changes everything. I am teaching you to walk slower, breathe deeper, live more aware. For I want you not merely to survive, but to become a living song of resurrection. When you step out, others will not only see a body renewed, but the light in your eyes, the light of one visited by the living God. Your body, soul, and spirit are not three separate pieces, but a symphony I composed to reflect my own image. When one instrument drifts out of tune, the whole harmony falters, and that is what has happened within you. One small rhythm slipped, and slowly the body, the mind, and faith followed. But I do not scold. I know the world has been so loud that you forgot the sound of your own true tone. I come not to condemn, but to retune the divine frequency within you. My beloved child, you once believed that healing only happens when the pain is gone, but I tell you, this true healing begins when you realize you are loved even while you still hurt. For love itself is the first medicine, the first light, to touch the places where darkness has long made its home. When you sit quietly and whisper, "Lord, I am here," you are inviting me into the deepest room of your soul, the place where I have long waited to enter. And in that moment, no long prayer is needed, no ritual, no effort, just an open heart. Then life begins to move again. Each cell listens, each vessel is touched. Each breath within you begins to sing the song that has been silent for too long. I gave you breath to remind you that all life flows from my spirit. Every time you inhale, you receive my presence. Every time you exhale, you release what no longer belongs. But how long has it been since you breathed with awareness? How long have you let worry take the space that belongs to me within your chest? Let your breath become a prayer without ceasing. Inhale grace, exhale fear. In that rhythm, you will feel what words cannot describe, the union of body and soul in the embrace of the Creator. My child, your body is not merely a vessel, it is the temple where I dwell. Each time you despise or reject your own form, you unknowingly speak against my craftsmanship. I shaped you with tenderness, breathed my spirit into your bones, and placed my light within your smallest cells. When you stand before the mirror and see only imperfection, you are seeing wrongly. Look again through the eyes of your Creator, who sees not flaws but a masterpiece still in progress. I have never abandoned what I began. I know the secret dialogues within your heart, the quiet self-criticisms, the comparisons, the verdicts you repeat against yourself. You say you are not strong enough, not beautiful enough, not worthy enough. But I say enough. Those accusations are not from me. I never diminish what I have created. You do not need to reach some imagined perfection to please me. I was already delighted with you while you were still in your mother's womb. You are loved in the process, loved in the middle, loved before you are complete. For my love does not depend on appearance, weight, or outer wholeness, but on the divine imprint I carved within your soul. Let this truth be written upon your heart: I love you, and because I love you, I will restore you, not because you have done everything right, but because I am faithful. Just as the sun rises without being asked, so my love flows without needing to be earned. You need only to receive it. When you believe this, the closed rooms within you will begin to open. The tension in your body will soften. The restlessness in your mind will fade. The fear in your spirit will dissolve like morning mist before the light. I see how long you have tried to stay strong. You have carried the fear of sickness like a secret hidden behind your smile. You are afraid to admit weakness because you think doing so means a lack of faith. But true faith does not deny reality, it invites me into it. When you dare to name the pain, I can touch it. When you say I need you, I can fill you. Not because I do not know already, but because I honor the door of free will I placed within you. Nothing in you lies outside of my knowledge. I know how your body responds to stress. I know how your heart quickens when you hold back tears. I know the nights you lie awake hearing the stirrings of your stomach, feeling the heaviness in your belly, convincing yourself it is nothing. But no, my child, nothing in you escapes my notice. Your body speaks in signals, and I listen, for it is the language I use to draw you back to harmony. I am resetting the order within you. The imbalance of hormones, the quiet inflammation, the frayed nerves, all are being touched by my hand. I need no scalpel to do this. I use my word, and my word holds more power than any medicine. When I say, "Be still," the turmoil within you begins to quiet. When I say, "Rest your weary glands," stop flooding your body with fear. When I say, "Return," your body finds again the rhythm of creation. Soon you will notice changes, not because you force them, but because I am moving within you. Do not rush the process. Restoration does not come like a passing wind. It comes like spring, gentle, yet certain. The seed does not bloom on the first day. It needs soft soil, water, and light, and I am providing all these for you. I am softening the soil, your heart. I am watering it through my word. I am shining light upon it through my presence. Let the process unfold. Trust that even when you feel nothing, healing is still at work. As you learn to slow down, you will begin to hear the whisper of your body, a small but honest voice. It will tell you when to rest. It will warn you when you have pushed too far. It will remind you when it is time to come back to me. Honor that voice, for it is wisdom I placed within you. When you live in harmony with what I have made, you are living in worship. And now, my child, let me speak peace into your soul. Peace is not the absence of struggle, it is my presence in the midst of it. When you live in that peace, your body will stop warring with itself. It will breathe, release, and be reborn. Your mind will cease resisting. And in that surrender, true strength will arise, the strength born from my indwelling presence, my beloved child. Now close your eyes. Imagine my hand resting gently upon your head. A tender stream of light begins to flow down your neck, across your shoulders, through your heart, your stomach, your legs. Wherever the light passes, life stirs again. Every cell opens to receive the divine current. I am rewriting the language of life within you. I am breathing my resurrecting breath into your very marrow, just as I once breathed into the dust and called humanity to being. And once more I say to you, live. Not merely exist, but live fully, live freely. Live in the radiance of my light. You will no longer see your body as a burden, but as a living sanctuary. Each step, each breath, each heartbeat will become a song of praise. From that sacred place, restoration will no longer be something you receive. It will be something you become. You will stand as a living testimony that God still performs miracles in human hearts and flesh today. My beloved, in your busy life, silence has ceased to be a refuge and has instead become an emptiness that frightens you. You fear stillness, because in it you must face yourself, your unresolved thoughts, your unanswered questions. Yet it is precisely there that I dwell. The place where you think my voice is absent is the very place where I am speaking the loudest. My voice does not come in the wind or the earthquake, but in the gentle whisper that brushes the soul. 1 Kings 1:9-11-12. Only when the noise quiets does your spirit begin to hear. I have watched you walk through many hurried seasons. You have learned to react to life instead of responding with peace. You live in a world where everyone fights to be heard and few choose to listen. You have forgotten that true strength does not come from many words, but from stillness before me. When you are silent, you are not weak, you are stepping into the territory of power. For in your silence I can move unhindered by the noise of your fear. There are things I cannot say in chaos, not because I am weak, but because I love you. I will not force my voice to compete with the noise you create to soothe your worry. I wait until you stop striving, until you sit down exhausted and whisper, "Lord, I don't know what to do anymore." That moment which feels like defeat to you is actually the beginning of real communion. For then your soul softens, your defenses fall, and I can finally speak. I do not need eloquent prayers from you. I need your honest heart. The rough words, the sighs, the silence that cannot find speech. I understand them all. I am not offended by your weakness. I see the truth in it, and I love that truth. For I am the God of truth, and truth always begins with honesty before me. When you confess, "Lord, I can't feel you right now," I do not withdraw. I draw closer because at least you have dared to call my name. When your soul feels barren, do not assume I have withdrawn. I am deepening your roots. Dry soil compels roots to search for hidden water, and that is how I train you so that your faith is not built on emotion, but anchored in truth. You cannot live only by the feeling that I am near. You must live by the certainty that I never leave. When feelings fade, faith finds its voice. I have seen you searching for my word in every possible place, through people, through books, through dreams. But my child, my voice is not that far away. It lives within you in the deep chamber of your spirit where I lit the lamp of understanding. I am not hiding, but my voice is often buried under echoes, worry, expectation, fear, self-judgment. Each time you sit still and let your mind rest, those layers begin to fall away, and my voice emerges soft as breath, constant as heartbeat. Remember the garden when Adam walked with me before sin existed. He did not need to pray to hear me. We simply walked together in the cool of the day. You too were created for that kind of fellowship, to hear me in the rhythm of ordinary life, to see no boundary between sacred and mundane. I want you to realize that every moment can become holy when you are aware of my presence. When you wash the dishes, when you drive, when you work, if you pause even for a heartbeat and say, "You are here," I will fill that space with holiness. My child, silence is not the enemy, it is the guide. In the quiet, I mend the torn places in your soul, weave together the frayed threads of belief. In the quiet, I reorder your tangled thoughts and gather the fragments of focus that the world has scattered. In the quiet, you are not disconnected, you are being reconnected to what is deeper than sound, the living presence of your God. Learn to hear me not only with your ears, but with your spirit. Sometimes I speak through morning light, through the song of a bird, through the soft rhythm of rain upon glass. Sometimes through a dream, through a stranger's glance, through a sudden peace that has no cause. You have waited for thunder, but I come as a breath. Open your heart to recognize me in small things, for great miracles are always wrapped in humble moments. I know you once feared silence, because in silence the past returns, the old wounds, the cutting words, the memories unhealed. They rise when there is nothing left to distract you. But fear not, I will sit with you in that room of memories. I will touch each image that once made you tremble, not to reopen pain, but to redeem it. Every memory that once made you flinch will become evidence of my mercy. Every tear will turn into a seed of wisdom. Every scar will become an open door for light to enter. My beloved child, let silence become the place where I remake you. When the world tells you to run faster, I say, sit down. When they urge you to prove yourself, I say, rest in me. When they tell you to speak louder to be heard, I say, be still and let me speak for you. In a world that worships noise, your stillness will become a sacred declaration. It says that you no longer belong to the rhythm of fear, but to the rhythm of peace. I will teach you to hear my voice again step by step. At first, you will listen by faith, like one learning to recognize a familiar voice in a crowd. But gradually that voice will grow so clear that even the smallest movement within your spirit will be enough for you to know I am speaking. And as you walk through life, the countless sounds that once confused, you will lose their hold because your soul will have been refined to discern the melody of heaven. You will know my voice because it always carries peace. It never drives you into anxiety, never frightens you, never rushes you. My voice is gentle yet weighty, quiet yet unmistakable. When you hear it, clarity will rise within your heart even before circumstances shift. When you hear it, direction will come even when the destination is unseen. When you hear it, you will understand that every silence holds a purpose, and within that very silence you will be healed. For stillness does not merely calm the mind, it opens the way for the restoration of the soul. You will notice your body responding as your spirit rests. Your breath will deepen, your heartbeat will be steady. Sleep will come softly, like grace descending. The tension long stored in your being will dissolve like mist before the morning sun, not because you have done anything, but because I have been at work with you while you were still before me. My beloved, there are sounds that do not come from me, yet they wear the disguise of holiness. They echo with familiar words, but lack the breath of life. They push pressure and plant fear, making you think you are following God when in truth you are chasing the echoes of anxiety. The world is full of voices, public opinion, memory, guilt, desire, the ghosts of those who once wounded you. All of them demand to be heard, yet none of them have authority over your soul. I alone hold that authority. You have lived too long among that noise. Some mornings you wake, and before a single prayer leaves your lips, your mind is already hijacked by invisible clamor. It doesn't come from speakers or people, but from restless thoughts whispering, "You're not enough, you're falling behind. If you don't try harder, you'll be left behind." Those are not my words. I never speak in the language of hurry or fear. My voice moves with calm certainty, leading you toward peace, not pushing you into panic. Do not believe every voice that rises in your mind. Test them by my truth. If what you hear makes you shrink, weighs your heart down, or dims your inner light, it is not from me. But if it helps you breathe deeper, brings quiet strength, though the future is unclear, draws you closer to me, that is my voice. You will learn this discernment as you spend time in conscious stillness. Child stillness is not merely the absence of sound, it is a condition of the spirit. Some keep their mouths quiet, but their souls still rage. Others live amid crowds, yet carry within a lake-like calm. True stillness is not emptiness, it is the end of resistance. When your soul stops striving, competing, and defending, silence will come naturally like a homecoming. And within that quiet, I can teach you again to recognize the sound of my own heart. Remember, even in Eden before the fall, I spoke first. I said, "Let there be light," and everything began from that word. So it is now every renewal within you begins with what I speak. But my word does not always thunder. Sometimes it comes as a soft thought, a fleeting intuition, a wave of peace. The world trains you to trust the loud, but I train you to trust the gentle and the true. The storm wind may break branches, but it is the quiet breeze that makes seeds take root. My child, there will be days when your soul feels lost in a labyrinth of thoughts and feelings. Each path opens to another, and you no longer know which to choose. But do not be afraid. I am the guide who leads in silence. When you do not know where to go, do not move out of panic. Stand still, take a deep breath and say, "Lord, if you do not go before me, I will not move." When you stand still, I will shift the world around you until the way appears. You will not find the path will find you when you stand in my presence. You have asked me many times, how do I know if it's truly your voice and not mine? and I tell you, you will know it by its fruit. My voice always produces peace. It always leads toward love. It always inspires forgiveness and trust. The other voices bring confusion, suspicion, and exhaustion. By their fruit you will recognize them. Matthew 7:20. So look at your heart after each voice speaks. If it grows heavy, let that word go. If it grows bright, that is me. I am teaching you to return to the skill of Eden, the art of listening with your soul, not by effort but by union. When you realize that I am already within you, you will stop crying out for me as though I were far away. You will find me in your breath, your heartbeat, the morning light through your window. Everything becomes sacred once your eyes are restored to see it rightly. Beloved, part of the reason you struggle to hear me is that your spirit has grown weary under the strain of a restless soul. You have prayed with anxiety, listened in tension, tried to decode my will as if I were hiding it from you, but I do not hide. I only wait for you to stop trying so hard and simply abide in me. When you abide, my voice flows naturally. Like sitting beside a river, you do not have to search for water. You need only be still, and the current will come. My word is like that, it is always flowing if only you will stop stirring the surface. My beloved child, sometimes I use prolonged silence to heal your soul. In that silence, you will learn that the absence of an answer is also an answer. When I do not speak, you are being taught to trust my nature, not merely my words. You will learn to believe that I am still good, even when you hear nothing. And when that trust ripens, you will hear me again, but not with your ears this time, with the union of your whole being, body and spirit, intertwined. Be on guard, my child, against the false sounds within your spirit. They are not always other people's voices, but the old beliefs you have carried for too long. I must be strong to be loved. I must be perfect to be accepted. If I am weak, I will be left behind. Those are not my words. They are echoes of the world of memory of pain. Let me cleanse your mind of those sounds. Let my word become the primary frequency within you. When you have listened to me long enough, the false voices will fade on their own. You will see that when your soul rests, your body rests as well. The unexplained aches will ease. The tense places will soften. The heartbeat will find its rhythm again. For when your spirit is tuned to the frequency of peace, your body follows. Life within you is not merely biological, it is the reflection of divine harmony. My child, I do not want you to hear me only in prayer, but in every moment of your life. When you walk, let your feet whisper to the earth, God is here. When you work, let your hands know they are partnering with the Creator. When you face another person, look through my eyes, because through your gaze I will tell the world I am still here. When you live in my rhythm, you will become my voice among humankind. You will not need to shout for others to hear about me. Your peace will be the loudest sound. When you speak, your words will carry weight, for they will not come from anxiety but from connection. When you pray, your prayers will not merely leave your lips, they will reach my heart. And when you are silent, the world will sense something different in you, not emptiness, but a presence overflowing. Do not fear silence anymore, my beloved. Do not be troubled when I do not answer right away. Every moment of stillness is a moment I am cleansing your inner ground, softening the hardened soil of your heart, so that when my word is planted, it can take root deeply. You are learning the art of hearing by faith, and that faith will make you the one I can trust to carry my word to others. Child of mine, silence is not merely a pause in the music of life, it is the foundation upon which every sacred sound is built. Just as a symphony needs its rests for the melody to echo deeply, your soul needs moments of stillness for my voice to resonate within. You have lived in a world that mistakes silence for emptiness, where people fear facing themselves. But I tell you this, in silence, I am preparing you for glory. When I lead you through a season of quiet, it is not punishment, it is spiritual fermentation. Look at the seed in the soil. It does not grow while being seen. It grows in darkness, in quiet, in the unseen place where no one applauds. I am doing the same within you. Every promise, every gift, every blessing I have planted in your soul must first be hidden so that the roots may anchor deeply before the bloom comes. If I let you blossom too soon, the winds of life would easily scatter you. But if you learn patience in silence, you will stand strong through every season. Some prayers are not answered immediately, not because I do not hear, but because I am teaching you the sacred art of waiting. Waiting is never wasted time. It is the refining of the soul like gold in the fire. When all other sounds fade, you finally learn to distinguish between my voice and your own. And once you have learned that nothing in this world can shake you again, silence will no longer frighten you. It will become your dwelling place of certainty. I know there are days when you cry out, "Lord, why don't you speak?" But my child, when I am silent, it is not forgetfulness, it is foundation work. When a great building is raised, the builder must dig deep, so deep that from the surface it seems nothing is happening. I am doing that within your soul. My silence always has purpose. No moment is meaningless. Every pause is an unspoken promise. Every waiting season a space for your faith to grow stronger. Remember Joseph imprisoned in the dark before he became a deliverer for nations. Remember Moses 40 years in the desert before hearing my voice from the burning bush. Remember David singing to the sheep in solitude before being anointed king. All of them endured seasons of silence where I trained their spiritual hearing, teaching them to distinguish between the world's echo and heaven's word. You too are walking through such a season, not as a retreat, but as a preparation for the next role I have destined for you. Let silence teach you what noise never could. It teaches patience. It teaches you to listen, not to reply, but to understand. It teaches that not everything must be explained, and not every prayer must be answered immediately. It teaches that I am not a God driven by your anxiety, but a Father guiding you in the rhythm of eternity. When you learn to walk in that rhythm, fear begins to dissolve, because you know you are being led, never abandoned. Silence is also where I heal your memories. There are moments from your past that once made you tremble each time you remembered them. But when you let me enter those places, stillness becomes the balm that soothes the echoes of pain. I will not erase your memories, but I will remove their sting. You will remember without trembling, look back without shame, and speak of your past without sorrow. In that silence, I am rewriting your story, turning every dark chapter into testimony of my faithfulness. When you begin to feel peace within the quiet, it is the sign that your spirit is awakening. You will realize you no longer need to fill every gap with noise. My presence is enough. When you no longer need sound to feel safe, you will have reached the deeper layers of freedom. For to fear silence is to fear meeting yourself, and to face yourself is the first step to meeting me. When you are brave enough to sit in stillness and whisper, "I trust you," even when you say nothing, that is mature faith, the faith that no longer depends on feelings but rests in absolute trust. My beloved child, this silence you are walking through is not emptiness, it is pregnancy. Just as a woman cannot see the life forming within her each day yet knows something sacred is growing inside, so it is with you. What I am doing in your soul is still unseen, but it is already taking shape. You may not see results, but you will notice the signs: peace replacing fear, patience displacing haste, trust overcoming confusion. These are the early heartbeats of revival, and when the appointed time arrives, my voice will resound within you like the trumpet that wakes those who sleep. You will realize that silence never ends in silence. It ends in a new word. That word will not come merely to comfort you, but to commission you. As I restore your soul in the quiet, I am not just healing you, I am preparing you to carry my word into the world. You will not only hear me, you will become my voice. The peace you have discovered in stillness will flow through your speech, your gaze, your very presence. Others will find healing simply by being near you, for they will sense my breath moving through your life. So, my child, treasure this season. Do not rush it. Do not ask me to break the silence just to ease your impatience. If I speak too soon, you will hear with your ears, not with your spirit. But as you learn to wait, your inner hearing will be trained to discern heaven's tone from human noise. Once you can recognize that difference, you will never lose your way again, no matter how loud the world becomes. Remember what I have spoken in Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. This is not just counsel, it is a holy invitation. Every time you choose stillness instead of panic, you are declaring that I reign over the situation. Every time you stay silent before an insult, you give me permission to fight for you. Every time you pause amid life's rush to breathe and acknowledge me, you step into the realm of miracles. For miracles are always conceived in silence, in the hidden place where no one sees, where only you and I dwell. When this season of silence is complete, you will not be who you once were. You will speak less, yet your words will carry more power. You will move slower, yet every step will be steady. You will pray fewer words, yet your faith will go deeper. For the soul awakened in stillness never again seeks noise to prove it is alive. It knows life dwells within it, because I dwell there. Beloved, this silence is grace. It is not punishment. It is the deep rain preparing the soil for harvest. Let silence do its holy work. Let me teach you to hear not only with your ears, but with your heart. When you emerge from this season, you will carry the quiet of heaven into the noise of earth. You will become a refuge for restless souls searching for direction, and through your peace, they will see me, my child. When silence has softened your soul and your breath has slowed into peace, I begin to breathe into you again, the divine current you once lost amid exhaustion. This energy does not come from willpower, discipline, or striving. It comes from union with me. It is not human endurance that lifts you up, but my spirit rising within you, awakening what has lain dormant. I did not create you to merely get through each day. I made you live in abundance. There is a sacred energy within you, not the restless energy of the flesh, but the radiant current of my presence. It once flowed freely, when your faith was simple, when your heart was easily moved, when your eyes sparkled with joy at being close to me. But over the years, burden, care, and disappointment have blocked its flow. Your soul still believes, but your body no longer keeps rhythm. Your mind still prays, but your heartbeat trembles. I see the disconnection, and today I come to reconnect the circuits of life within you. I begin with your breath, for breath is the first bridge between heaven and earth, between my spirit and your body. When you breathe shallowly, you live at the surface. But when you learn to breathe deeply in me, you open the gates for my presence to flow. Inhale grace, exhale burden. Breath is not merely existence, it is worship. Each inhale whispers, I receive you. Each exhale confesses, I surrender. And when your breathing becomes prayer, even your blood listens, for blood and spirit share the same language, the rhythm of life. The divine current flows through every part of you I designed, through your blood, your nerves, your bones, your cells. When I say live, each part begins to vibrate at my frequency. You may not see it, but your spirit knows it is the melody of resurrection awakening within. Everything in you hears my command. Your heart steadies, your lungs expand, your liver renews, your stomach rests. Every organ remembers the voice that first gave it life, and it responds. You have lived too long in the rhythm of fear, where stress hormones ruled your blood, your muscles braced for battle. Your breath grew short, and your sleep fragmented. But I say, enough. I am resetting your rhythm. I am placing you in the cadence of peace. This rhythm is not hurried, not sluggish. It is the rhythm of creation itself, soft, balanced, eternal. Imagine the universe turning the moon, circling the earth circling the sun revolving around the eternal light, that is me. Nothing is rushed, nothing lost. Everything moves in divine harmony. I desire your body to live in that same harmony. This sacred energy is not something to acquire, but to unblock. As you release layers of anxiety, guilt, and unhealed pain, the current returns. It was never gone, only covered. I am not adding something new to you. I am reactivating what I placed there from the beginning. It is my breath, my light, my life. I am touching your adrenal glands, those weary engines worn by years of strain. I am calming them. I speak peace to the unconscious reactions of your body. I am healing the connection between mind and flesh that fear once severed. As I touch you, the spiritual circuitry reconnects. Your blood warms, your pulse balances, and a peace beyond this world floods your being. This is not a passing feeling, it is resurrection, life returning. I am not only God of your soul, I am Lord over your body. I do not heal partially, I restore completely. As I call life's current back, I also call back joy, passion, creativity, the gifts you thought were lost. Creativity is not for artists alone. It is the breath of every soul made in my image. When divine energy stirs, you will feel the urge to sing, to move, to love, to give. All these are signs that life has returned. I am reopening the springs that were sealed, the wells of compassion, hope, and imagination that life's dust had covered. Now I say flow again, and like rivers through a desert, they begin to sing. You will find yourself smiling for no reason. You will see light in the smallest things. You will know that I am near, for true life always carries joy with it. Do not fear the changes you feel. Sometimes when I awaken what is divine, your body responds, tears rise, warmth spreads, the heart quickens. This is not strange. It is the natural response to the Spirit's touch. Do not analyze it. Let it happen. Simply whisper, Lord, I am open. When you stop resisting, the current moves, freely cleansing the hidden corners burdened by fear and regret. My child, this life I breathe into you is not only for your renewal, it is to make you a vessel. A healed body becomes healing for others. A restored soul becomes a river for the thirsty. When you walk in this new energy, I will cause your light to flow effortlessly. People will sense peace around you and wonder, what is different about this person? And you will smile knowing it is not your strength but the current of the living one flowing through you. My beloved child, allow me to teach you how to live in this flow. Do not force yourself back into the old rhythm. When you are tired, rest. When you are hungry, eat. When you are sad, weep. When you are joyful, give thanks. This is not weakness, it is harmony between the body and soul I created. You are not called to suppress your emotions, but to let me reshape them. When your inner current flows rightly, every feeling, whether sorrow, joy, fear, or hope, becomes a river returning to my ocean. No emotion is wrong when it moves under my guidance. Your life is not sustained by striving, but by communion. When you live in rhythm with me, divine energy will never run dry, for it flows from an infinite source. Just as a river never fears running out of water while connected to the spring, you will not fear exhaustion while remaining in me. Whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within them. John 7:3-8. And those rivers of peace, strength, creativity, and love are beginning to flow from within you now. This is the dawn of a new season. A season where your body will no longer be a limitation but a channel of my glory, where your soul no longer wars with the flesh but joins in praise, where the sacred current of life returns, not loud or fleeting but steady, deep, and enduring. Breathe deeply and know that I am here not only in the air around you but in your very breath. My child, the life I breathe into you is not a one-time gift but a sacred trust to nurture and steward. Like a river that needs banks to become life-giving instead of destructive, divine energy must have direction. Without rhythm and purpose, it dissipates in trivialities. I do not want you to experience temporary refreshment. I want you to live in lasting abundance. I give you new life, but I also entrust you with the responsibility to guard it. Spiritual vitality fades when the world drains it away. Some things seem harmless, yet slowly sap the soul's energy: comparison, resentment, complaining, or trying to please everyone while ignoring my voice. Learn to discern what nourishes you and what depletes you. Not everything pleasant is good for you, and not everything painful is harmful. Some things tire you briefly, but strengthen your soul for the long run, like honesty, discipline, or the courage to rest. Rest, my child, is not laziness, it is obedience. When I created the world, I did not need the seventh day to recover strength. I ordained it to teach you the law of life. True power always flows from rest in me. When you work without rest, you declare that you do not trust me to sustain you. But when you stop, you proclaim that I am your true source. Resting does not mean quitting. It means placing everything in proper order with me at the center, not your worry. I have watched you push yourself to the edge, thinking just a little more. But that little more has drained you. You did not realize that divine energy needs space to renew. You cannot receive new water when your vessel is full of anxiety. Let me pour out what is unnecessary. Learn to say no without guilt. Every time you say no to what I did not assign, you say yes to life. Your body is a delicate instrument. It not only mirrors your soul, but stores spiritual energy. When you eat in haste, sleep too little, or speak negative words, you wound the rhythm of that energy. I do not condemn you, but I invite you to return to mindful living. Eat with gratitude, not haste. Sleep with trust, knowing the world still turns while you rest. Speak as one who knows that every word carries energy. You cannot sow bitterness and reap peace. The language you use shapes not only others, but the environment within you. The energy I give is not merely to make you feel alive, it is to make you a source of life for others. Each time you encourage someone sincerely, you open a valve of energy within your soul. Each time you forgive, you release a flow that was blocked. Forgiveness is not only a spiritual act, it is biological therapy for the soul. When you let go of others, your blood flows more freely, your breathing deepens, and your strength returns. Body and spirit are not separate, they sing one song, and I am the composer. This sacred energy must be rightly directed. It is not meant to serve impulse but purpose. When you spend your strength on what I did not call you to, exhaustion comes quickly. But when you invest it in what I appoint, a supernatural power sustains you. You will labor much, yet feel light, for I will work with you. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Matthew 1:13-0. Let this be your rhythm of life, not to do less, but to do rightly, to act in step with me. Each morning when you awaken, do not rush to the news or your task list. Begin by aligning your energy. Breathe deeply and say, Lord, today my energy belongs to you. Direct it rightly. When you do this, the Spirit becomes your conductor. You will find yourself no longer wasting strength on trivial things, for divine energy never chases what is meaningless. It always moves toward life, love, and peace. Do you see, my child, why some people feel tired? Even though they sleep and eat well, they live against the flow. They speak against truth, act against conscience, dwell outside my presence. When you live contrary to the word within, your soul burns oil without refill. But when you walk in alignment with your calling, the oil replenishes itself. That is why I do not want you only to ask for energy, but to live in its true direction. Some days your energy will be low. Do not condemn yourself. See it as an invitation to recharge in rest. Like the tides of the sea, spiritual energy also rises and falls. When you feel weary, do not strain. Return to the source. Sit in the light. Listen to a hymn. Read a promise. Be still for a few minutes. You will find renewal, not by forcing but by reconnecting. Everything of mine has rhythm. Your heart beats in rhythm, your breath moves in rhythm, day and night, dance in rhythm, and spiritual energy too has rhythm. When you move with, it all becomes light and graceful. When you resist, tension arises. Learn when to stop, when to move, when to speak, when to remain silent. I will teach you. The Holy Spirit will guide you in every beat. You are not a victim of life's energy, you are a steward of heaven's flow. I placed within you the power to bless or to wound with your words, the creativity to shift atmospheres. When you enter a room carrying peace, the atmosphere changes. When you speak of hope, fear dissolves. This is divine energy used rightly. It transforms reality. So do not hoard your energy. Let it flow, but do not let it drain. The secret to sustaining it is not withholding but continual connection to the source. You cannot run dry when you are joined to the spring. You cannot lose what is rooted in me. Live each day as one who is grounded in the light, unshaken by the shadows that move around you. Remember, this divine energy is never the goal, it is the fruit of living in union with me. When you truly love, truly forgive, truly trust that energy flows on its own. You do not need to chase it, for it is the sign that I dwell within you. Focus only on this, keep your heart gentle, your mind still and your spirit open. Everything else I will do. My precious one, now that the sacred current within you has been awakened, I want to teach you something deeper. The unity between energy and purpose. For power without purpose fades and purpose without power withers. I did not revive you merely so that you might feel strong again. I restored you so you could live in this energy as an instrument of my kingdom. You were created not only to receive light, but to reflect it. I have declared, you are the light of the world. Matthew 5:1-4. But light does not shine by itself, it must stay connected to its source. Divine energy is that invisible current I placed within you so that you might carry life into barren places. When you are united with me, every small act, cooking, writing, caring, listening, becomes worship. Worship is no longer confined to music or prayer. It becomes the way you move through life. Understand, beloved, divine energy is not separate from your calling. Your mission is not a title, it is the natural outflow of a life rooted in me. Some are called to heal through words, some through hands, some through stillness, some through structure and service. But no matter the form, all draw from the same source, my spirit moving within. When your energy harmonizes with my purpose, what you do will bear fruit beyond your own capacity. You won't need to try to make an impact, your very presence will. Yet know this energy leaks when you strive to prove your worth. Every time you let others define who you are, your current scatters. Every time you chase applause instead of presence, the flow is disrupted. Let your mission spring not from the need for recognition, but from the quiet voice of my call. For when you do something simply to please me, you will never burn out. Love does not drain, it multiplies. Only comparison exhausts. Divine energy is not emotion, it is faith in motion. When you forgive those who hurt you, energy is released. When you speak encouragement instead of criticism, energy expands. When you obey without full understanding, energy amplifies. This is the mathematics of heaven, where small acts done in love generate great power. Learn to work from fullness, not from lack. When you feel empty, do not give to prove your faithfulness. Return to the source to be refilled. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. Even Christ, after healing the multitudes, withdrew to solitary places to pray, Luke 5:1-6. If he, the one with all power, sought rest with the Father, then so must you. not because you are weak, but because that is how spiritual energy is sustained. The current I give you is not meant for isolation, but for connection to my living body, the Church. When you are united with others in the same spirit, your energies resonate and amplify one another. Like many instruments blending in one symphony, each brings a sound, but only together do they create heaven's song. You will find that when you pray with others, your energy increases manyfold, for I dwell among them. Unity is not merely an idea, it is a real spiritual phenomenon where light meets light and becomes brighter. Do not underestimate the small gestures, a sincere greeting, a comforting touch, a trusting glance, all carry divine energy. Each time you act with the awareness that I dwell in you, you release heaven's frequency, and that frequency can shatter heaviness, dissolve fatigue, and heal wounds no medicine can reach. Miracles do not happen only in sanctuaries, they unfold in every moment you live awake to my presence. When your energy moves in this way, you will realize that everything is sacred. Work, family, relationships all become arenas where my power flows. I do not want you to separate holy from ordinary, for I inhabit both. When you wash dishes with love, that is worship. When you write with sincerity, that is prayer. When you listen with compassion, that is a miracle. Let your life itself become a temple where divine energy is not confined to gatherings but breathes through daily moments. When I say live in my energy, I am also calling you to protect that energy with wisdom. There will be places where you sense heaviness. That is a sign your spiritual current is being challenged. Do not fear. Ask the Holy Spirit to cover you. Breathe deeply and declare within, light is greater than darkness. When you do this, the divine energy in you recalibrates and strengthens, not to fight, but to transform. You do not need to battle, you only need to shine. The energy I place in you is not just for surviving life, but for creating it. When you enter a room, remember you carry my spirit. When you speak, remember your words. Hold creative power just as mine did at the dawn of time. When you pray for someone, my current flows through your heart, through your hands, through your gaze. Not because you are extraordinary, but because you are connected to the extraordinary. My child, I am teaching you to live as one who carries the royalty of divine energy. This is not mysticism. It is the reality of my kingdom. When you walk in love, you emit the frequency of heaven. When you forgive, you open the gates for life to flow. When you are gentle, you harmonize the energy between earth and heaven. Every loving act is a beam of light piercing darkness, and it never disappears. My beloved child, let every breath, every word, and every choice reflect the sacred current I have placed within you. When you eat, give thanks. When you move, move with joy. When you work, do so with a heart of service. When you rest, rest in peace. That is the art of living divinely in a mortal body. You do not need to escape the world to live spiritually. You only need to let heaven reveal itself through each moment of your life. When you live this way, healing will not be yours alone. The world around you will also be touched. The light within you will seek out the souls lost in shadow and awaken them. The flow within you will meet other streams, and together they will form an ocean of life. This is the final purpose of restoration, not merely that you may stand firm, but that you may become a source from which others drink. My child, the divine energy within you is evidence that I live. As long as you breathe, I am at work. Each time you choose love over fear, faith over doubt, you are widening the borders of my kingdom of light. So do not fear tomorrow, do not fear weariness, do not fear beginning again. The current within you does not depend on circumstance, it depends on connection. As long as you remain in union with me, you will never run dry. My beloved, the fire I send is not to destroy but to refine, not to punish but to purify, not to take away what you love, but to remove what keeps you from loving me fully, For the Lord your God is a consuming fire, a jealous God. Deuteronomy 4:2-4. This fire is unlike the fire of the world. It does not burn to wound, but to cleanse, not to end life, but to return it to the purity I placed within you from the beginning. No one is born completely pure. Each carries the dust of the world habits, wounds, fears, and lies that cling to the soul like rust upon gold. You cannot wipe them away with mere effort. Only fire restores brilliance. That is why I lead you through the flame, not to test you, but to reshape you. You think fire means judgment, but it is proof of love. Only those deeply loved are chosen to be refined. So when I speak of fire, do not fear. My fire is not the flame of earthly pain. It does not consume your flesh. It consumes the bonds that tie you to what is not of me. There are things you cling to as if they were part of your being, habits, false beliefs, attachments, illusions, and I know that if I simply ask you to release them, you will hesitate. So I allow the fire to come. My fire comes as disruption, as sudden change, as loss that confuses your heart. But do not despair, my child. When the fire burns, it is not you who is perishing, it is the chain around you. Often you have prayed, Lord, set me free. And when the fire came, you cried, why is this happening? But I say to you, the fire is the answer to your prayer. True freedom cannot exist while the old remains intact. As gold cannot shine without the furnace, faith cannot be pure without trial. Each time you walk through the fire, an old layer falls away and something new rises. You are not being diminished. You are being redesigned. I know, my child, that fire frightens you. You fear loss, change, the death of what you once knew. But hear me, I never allow the flame to burn beyond what you can endure. My fire is measured precisely, no more, no less. Just as a goldsmith watches the flame with steady eyes, so I watch you, knowing the exact moment when enough is enough. I will not let the fire burn 1 second longer than necessary, and I never leave the furnace. When you are in the flame, I am there. Remember Daniel's friends. When they were cast into the furnace, a fourth man walked among them, and the fourth was like the Son of God. Daniel 3:2-5. I do the same today. When you walk through fire, you do not walk alone. Do not measure my presence by comfort. I am there even when you feel most alone. My silence is not absence. It is the focused gaze of the refiner. I watch not to condemn, but to discern when your soul has softened enough for me to imprint my image within. Fire is not sent to test your strength, but to reveal mine within you. You have often resisted the flame, seeking escape instead of wisdom. You have prayed for the discomfort to end rather than asking what I am teaching. But if you only seek deliverance from fire, you will emerge still impure. If you seek transformation in the fire, you will come out pure as gold. The difference between the burned and the refined lies not in the fire, but in purpose. The burned seek escape. The refined seek understanding. Look back over your years, the broken relationships, the plans that failed, the doors that closed. You thought they were defeats, but I tell you they were holy burnings. I do not remove anything without giving something greater in its place. When I take from your hand what is temporary, I prepare in your heart what is eternal. When I close a door, it is not to confine you, but to guard you from moving before the appointed time. My child, the fire also purifies your speech. Some of your words have carried the residue of fear, judgment, or bitterness. I will teach you to weigh your words, for life and death are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 1:8-1. I will place a burning coal upon your lips as I did for Isaiah, so that your words carry the fragrance of heaven instead of the smoke of pain. You will no longer speak to defend yourself, but to heal others. And not only your words, my fire refines your motives. I look not only at what you do, but why you do it. Some acts you believed were for me were really for recognition. Some service you thought was zeal was actually the ache of emptiness seeking to be filled. I do not condemn this. I simply desire to replace human motive with kingdom motive. When your intentions are purified, every act becomes light. You will no longer serve because you must, but because you want to. No longer from fear of rejection, but from the joy of being loved. That is fire transformed into light. When I say I am making you new through fire, it means I am restoring identity. You are no longer a victim of circumstance, but one chosen to reflect my glory through the flame. When others see you walk through trials yet remain at peace, they will know I am real. For no one stands calm in storms unless anchored by my spirit. The fire turns you into living testimony, not by your words, but by your endurance. In the fire you will learn what comfort could never teach: the beauty of dependence. When every support collapses, you will discover that I alone am the foundation that cannot be shaken. When everything you trusted fades, you will know the one who never changes. And when you know this, no fire will ever frighten you again. For if I am with you in the flame, nothing can stand against you. Understand, my beloved, when the fire finishes its work, you will shine with a light that cannot fade. Earthly flames die out, but my holy fire burns eternally within the transformed. It is the fire in the bush that Moses saw burning yet never consumed. That fire will guide others to find me, but it will not harm you. For you are no longer the object being burned, you have become the light itself. My child, be courageous. When you feel the heat rising, know that I am doing a deeper work. When the old no longer fits, do not grieve, you are growing. When the props you once leaned on fall away, remember, I am moving your support onto a firmer foundation. When you walk through the fire, do not pray for it to stop. Pray instead, Lord, make me more like you. For that is the purpose of the flame, not to make you impressive, but to make you resemble me. And once you bear that likeness, fire is no longer a threat. It becomes a crown. It becomes light around you. It becomes the evidence that you have truly passed through transformation. My beloved, when the fire burns away the old, it releases energy for the new. That is the sacred law of transformation. No ending in me is ever empty. Every time the flame consumes a shell, a deeper layer of life is revealed. Just as a grain of wheat must die to bear fruit, so must your soul pass through fire for the eternal to be born. Throughout the history of my people, fire has always marked a turning point. I appeared to Moses in a bush that burned but was not consumed. The flame did not destroy it, revealed. Moses thought himself only a nameless shepherd, yet in that fire he saw his calling. So too, when I allow the flame to touch your life, it is not random. I am unveiling the hidden part of your destiny. Many times you think I am taking away, but truly, I am clearing space to give more. Fire has its own language. It says, prepare. It says you can no longer live halfway. It says you cannot carry the old into the new. And I, the holy fire, use it to divide what belongs to me from what does not. I will not let you dwell forever in the gray, for the gray is where faith flickers out. Fire not only purifies, it defines. It forces a choice, me or the world. Fire makes you clear, and only the clear can carry true light. No, this child fire does not come to weaken you, but to awaken the strength within. As iron is hardened only by heat, so the soul's endurance is born in trial. No true strength is granted without refinement. What has not passed through fire remains fragile. What has endured the flame cannot be broken. So if you are being tested, rejoice, for I am forging you for eternal stability. My fire is not merely a purifier, it is creative energy. It dismantles old structures to make room for new life. When I breathe flame into your spirit, all that is stagnant begins to move. Fire melts the frost of fear, softens the heart turned to stone, and resurrects the dreams you thought had died. Do not fear the shaking within, that is resurrection stirring. I am awakening dormant energies, so you may live not as one who merely exists, but as one who carries heaven's vitality. Fire is also the lamp that guides you in darkness. There are seasons when I will not lead you by words, but by the light of the inner flame. When you cannot hear my voice clearly, look to what still burns in you: faith, faithfulness, love for me. That is the torch I have placed within your soul. It will lead you through the barren nights. Do not seek external light, for the truest light always shines from the center where I dwell. The flame also teaches intimacy. Fire cannot burn apart from its source. It requires breath and fuel. When you live distant from my presence, your fire fades. But when you linger in my word, in prayer, in stillness, my breath sustains the flame. That is why those who once touched my glory but did not remain in communion saw their fire die, not because the fire lacked power, but because it lacked nurture. Be wise, child, with false fires, fleeting passions, unanchored zeal, excitement without truth. They blaze quickly but end in ashes. My fire is not showy, it is steady. It does not flare in hype, but glows in obedience. When you live in my flame, you will not burn out, for I am the source that feeds it. Remember, this fire empowers your calling. When I sent Moses, I did not give him a sword, but a burning bush. When I poured my spirit on the disciples, I gave not wealth or titles, but tongues of fire. Acts 2:3. For only fire can give your words heavenly weight. Only fire makes your speech reach hearts. It is not wisdom that makes you effective. It is the fire of my spirit burning within you. When I kindle the flame in your heart, everything you touch becomes sanctified. When you pray, your words carry life. When you speak, light spreads. When you lay your hand, peace descends. Not because you are strong, but because the fire in you is stronger than the darkness around you. And remember, fire cannot be hidden. It will reveal itself in your eyes, your tone, your very presence. Others will sense it not with ears, but with spirit. Yet, my child, to keep this fire, guard what enters your heart. Fire cannot burn in dampness. Faith cannot thrive in a heart soaked with fear and bitterness. Each time you let negativity settle, you pour water on my flame. Do not feed resentment, it is the ash that smothers light. Do not torment yourself with guilt, the price has been paid. Let the wind of my spirit sweep through, clearing the soot, so the flame within you may blaze again. Fire also teaches discipline within grace. A lasting flame depends not only on fuel, but on tending. Do not become so busy that you forget to add oil. That oil is found in my word, in honest worship, in small acts of hidden love. When you practice these, the flame will not fade, but grow brighter. You will see that the smallest things, a whisper of gratitude, a breath of prayer, a humble glance, are sacred drops of oil keeping the fire alive. The fire I give is not merely to warm you, but to spread. Every soul you meet is a dry twig, and when you live aflame with my spirit, a single word, a single gesture can ignite them. That is how revival begins, not with crowds, but with one who carries true fire. When you live in love, you become the spark, and when sparks meet, the sky will blaze. So do not fear when I speak of fire. Welcome it as your companion on the journey of sanctification. Let the flame teach you obedience, humility, and love. Let it show you what to keep and what to release. Let it work quietly, for the work of fire always happens in the depths. When you step out of the fire, you will not be who you once were. The light you carry will cause others to bow, not in fear, but in awe, sensing they stand before something holy. They will not know what to call it, but their spirits will whisper, "This is one who has walked through fire and was not consumed." And through you they will know that I am the living God. My beloved, my fire is my love. Not the fragile, shifting love you have known, easily wounded, easily lost, but the original, indestructible love that no darkness can quench. This fire is my very nature. When I love, I burn. When I am present, I shine. When I touch, I transform. It was this same love that formed the universe, that breathed into dust and made you a living soul. And it is this same love now burning within you, not to destroy but to recreate. Remember, true love always carries fire within it. Love cannot remain indifferent. It cannot stay cold when what is precious is being harmed. Real love burns to protect, to purify, to redeem. I cannot love you without desiring to burn away everything that keeps you from me. When you ask to be closer to me, you are unknowingly inviting the flame, for none can stand in my love and remain unchanged. My love does not caress the surface. It pierces to the root, touching even the places you fear to see. But do not be afraid, for wherever I touch, I heal. You once thought fire and love were opposites, that one brings pain while the other brings warmth, but they are two sides of the same essence. My love not only embraces, it refines. It not only comforts, it cleanses. It not only inspires, it prunes. My love is like a master jeweler's hand, delicate yet fierce. When the flame rises, you may feel you are losing yourself, but you are only being reshaped to shine. Child, understand this: the flame is not only around you, it is within you. When I formed you, I placed in your spirit a divine spark, the imprint of heaven's fire. That is why you cannot be satisfied with the ordinary. You long for the deeper, the truer, the eternal. That longing is the call of the flame. It is what drives you to seek me, even when you do not know what you are seeking. And now, as I breathe the wind of my spirit, that hidden spark is becoming a flame of revival. But I do not want you to keep this fire to yourself. Fire is not made to stay trapped in a candle. It is meant to spread. When I place my flame in you, it is an invitation to become a bearer of fire, to ignite faith, hope, and love where darkness reigns. When you love without condition, you burn the shadows away. When you forgive, you release light. When you stand firm in adversity, you proclaim that the fire within you is stronger than the winds of the world. I do not need you to shout your faith from the rooftops. I only need you to burn steadily. True light never needs advertisement, it simply shines. When you enter a room with peace in your soul, the fire within you changes the atmosphere. When you speak kindness, tension dissolves. When you pray, that fire passes through your heart and touches others. Slowly, the world around you warms, because my fire has spread through you. My beloved, my fire is also the power of creation, the energy that sustains the universe. When I said, "Let there be light," it was not mere sound, but the outburst of my love igniting existence. And when you abide in me, you share in that creative force, not to build new worlds, but to turn the ground you stand on into a small piece of heaven. You create through words, through actions, through how you see others. Every word of love releases healing energy. Every prayer lights the space around you with spiritual flame. Fire not only illuminates, it guides. When you do not know the way, look to the light within. I will use it as I once used the pillar of fire to lead my people through the wilderness. I will not let you stray or sink into darkness. When you walk in step with me, the fire within burns bright and warm. When you wander, its glow fades. That is my signal calling you home. I am rekindling the fire within you, and when I rekindle, there will be smoke. Smoke from the past, from unforgiven pain, from resistance still buried deep. Do not panic. Smoke is simply the sign that the flame is alive. Let it burn. Let its heat melt the frozen parts of your heart. Let it teach you to love deeper, live truer, and believe stronger. Childfire is also the measure of love. Those who love only in words fear the flame, but those who love truly will walk through it willingly. In the fire, false love cannot survive, but true love blazes all the more. When you love me with your whole being, with your wounds, your weakness, your imperfections, I will turn that love into fuel for the holy flame. And you will see every limit consumed, every chain melted, until you stand free. Not because you are flawless, but because you are burning in my perfect love. My beloved child, One day when you look back, you will understand every season of fire in your life was a chapter of love. The fire in trial taught you to trust. The fire in loneliness taught you to listen. The fire in pain taught you to forgive. The fire in vision taught you to walk forward. And the fire in glory taught you humility. Each flame was different, yet all had one purpose: to make you more like me. And when that work is complete, you will no longer fear the fire. You will become the fire. Not a fire that destroys, but one that illuminates. Not a fire that burns, but one that warms. Not a fire of wrath, but of love. This flame will accompany you everywhere, in your words, in your gaze, in your steps. Others will feel it without knowing why, for through you they will touch me. This fire is the crown of the faithful. It is not the final reward, but the sign of a soul transformed. When you walk through the flame and still choose to love, you become light in the world. When you are misunderstood yet choose to forgive, you become a torch of peace. When you are wounded yet bless those who hurt you, you become the embodiment of my love. This is victory without applause, the triumph of a soul refined. The flame within you will never die, for it was not lit by your strength, but by my breath. I have chosen you to keep that fire in a world growing cold. And when other lamps go out, I will make your light a signal for the lost. Do not hide it. Do not doubt it. Let it burn, not loudly, but truly. For in the end, all else will fade. The noise, the sorrow, the fame, the striving, everything will pass. Only the fire of my love will remain burning in souls made pure. And when I call you home, the light within you will merge with my great light, until there is no distinction between the beloved and the lover, for we will be one in the eternal flame. My beloved, when the fire has finished its work, when the ashes have cooled, when the tears have quieted, I come in light. Not the blinding light that overwhelms, but the gentle light of dawn after a long night, a light not to judge but to awaken. You have passed through the fire, shed your old layers, and now I say, arise, shine, for your light has come. Isaiah 6:01. When my light shines, its first task is not to reveal others, but to reveal you. Light never shines outward before it shines within. It will uncover what still hides in the corners of your soul, the unnamed fears, the lingering doubts, the wounds thought forgotten, but still alive. Yet do not fear the light. It comes not to condemn, but to heal through truth. Where light enters, darkness loses its shelter, and when darkness departs, true peace begins. You once believed restoration meant returning to what was, but I tell you, true restoration is being reborn into what has never been. You are not returning to an old version of yourself. You are becoming the one I designed from the beginning. Everything within you will carry new radiance, gentler words, clearer thoughts, warmer eyes. Even your silence will carry a presence. Those who once knew you will not understand what changed, but they will feel it. Your soul will shine. When I say, let there be light into your spirit, it is not a command from outside. It is an awakening of what has always been within. You were created in my image, and I am light. So when you are reborn, light is not something added, it is something restored. It had been covered by fear, by pain, by the world's lies, but now after the fire has cleansed you, it is revealed again. Feel the relief of this moment, no more proving, no more chasing, no more fear of loss. Light never competes, it simply shines. And as you walk in the light, all that belongs to darkness will retreat. There is no need to fight, no need to shout, only to remain in me. For I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of life. John 8:1-2. When I shine, I also restore what seemed dead. Dreams once buried, promises once forgotten, I will call them to life again. Like seeds hidden in the soil awaiting the sun, they will rise at my warmth. Delay was never denial. It was a season for roots to grow deep. Now, as my light reaches you, what you thought was over will bloom again, not by your effort, but by the grace that breathes life. Look back at your journey. From the moment I called you out of darkness, led you through fire, solitude, and breaking, all was not to destroy, but to prepare you for this moment. For only the soul that has passed through flame can cherish the light. Only one who has fallen can understand the power of rising. Only one who has known isolation can value unity. Only one who has walked in shadow can truly shine for others. Light is not an emotion, it is a state of being. When you dwell in the light, everything you do carries healing. Your words bring comfort. Your presence changes the atmosphere. Not because you try, but because the light in you simply acts. You no longer display faith. Faith becomes the air you breathe. But light also carries responsibility. It cannot remain hidden. Those who bear it must accept being seen. Some will turn away blinded, others will draw near for warmth. You must not dim your light for fear of being misunderstood. Light is not meant to please, it is meant to reveal. So do not shrink from what you carry. Let it shine not with pride, not with hesitation, but with humility and steadfastness. My child, I do not give you light to make you famous, but to help others see the way. As the moon does not shine by itself but reflects the sun, so you reflect me. The glory in you is my reflection. The closer you stay to me, the brighter you become. The farther you drift, the dimmer you grow. So do not seek light in recognition or success. They are lamps that fade. Seek it in communion with me, for only that light never dies. When I renew your soul in light, I also renew your body. The body and the soul are not separate. When the soul heals, the body follows. My light will flow through your breath, your blood, your very cells. Weariness will lift, strength will return, not as instant magic, but as quiet renewal day by day. Each morning your light will grow stronger than before. Each night as you pray, I will place my hand upon you and whisper, "Live." And now I send you back into the world not as before. You go not with burdens, but with brightness. Not with fear, but with peace. You need not seek your place, for your place is in my heart. You need not argue your faith. Simply live, and they will see. For true light does not debate, it transforms by presence. Remember, light never fights darkness. It simply appears, and darkness fades. You need not force change, nor prove yourself. Live faithfully, love deeply, shine quietly. Let every action, every word, every glance be a small beam reflecting my glory, and you will see the horizon around you begin to glow. Light does not only illuminate the present, it opens the future. When you walk in the light, you no longer grope for direction. I will reveal one step at a time. My light will not show miles ahead, but enough for the next step, and when you take it, more will appear. Keep walking. Do not fear. Each step in the light draws you closer to your divine destiny. This is your new season, the season of rebirth. The fire has forged you. Now the light restores you. You are no longer ashes, you are dawn. No longer a survivor, but one fully alive. No longer a wounded one, but a bearer of light. And when you understand this, you will know that nothing was ever wasted, for in the ashes themselves the seed of light was born. My beloved child, my light does not come merely to illuminate, it comes to create. From the beginning, when I said, "Let there be light," it was not simply the first command of creation, but the pulse that birthed existence itself. Within that light order emerged chaos, dissolved, and life began to stir. In the same way, when I speak light into your soul, the disorder within you begins to align. Confusion gives way to divine order. Light does not only transform circumstances, it reshapes essence. Child light has no form of its own, yet it shapes all forms. When light touches water, water reflects. When it touches trees, they grow. When it touches stone, it glimmers. And when my light touches you, you reflect my glory. You do not need to strive to shine, only remain within the light. What lives in you will naturally be revealed. This is the secret of those who walk in the Spirit. They do not force themselves to shine. They simply allow the light to flow through them. In the material world, you use words to communicate, but in the spiritual realm, all communication is light. When I speak to the angels, I do not use sound, but light, for light carries every frequency of my will. When you abide in me, your spirit begins to understand this language. You will no longer hear me only with your ears, but perceive me through illumination within. Each moment of unexplainable peace, each sudden knowing that your mind never studied, these are not coincidences. It is light speaking. My light also heals, not merely because it is warm, but because it carries the vibration of life itself. When this light passes through you, it dissolves the dense energies that have imprisoned your soul. Every beam of light is a sacred sword cutting through unseen chains, resentment, shame, generational pain. There are wounds no medicine can reach, but they melt in my light. For light does not argue with darkness. It simply arrives, and darkness vanishes. When I renew your soul, I also place within you a source of inner light. From now on, you need not chase after illumination in others, nor wait for a service, a miracle, or a special season. The light is already in you because I am in you. All you must do is turn inward and be still, and you will see that flame that never dies, the sanctuary where I dwell, where the light needs no oil, for my spirit is the fuel. Yet this light is sustained by purity, not by perfection, but by honesty. Light cannot shine through masks. When you pretend to be strong, the light is blocked. When you hide your wounds, the light dims. But when you dare to be true before me, to be weak, to weep, to drop every disguise, the light bursts forth in brilliance. For my light requires only one thing: truth. Child, my light carries another wonder. It transcends time. In my radiance there is no past, present, or future. All merge into a single, eternal moment. Thus, when you stand in the light, I can touch the parts of you you thought were gone. I can heal memories, release the pain of childhood, and turn every sorrow into a seed of revelation. Nothing is ever lost when placed in my light, for my light redeems even time itself. Know that when you are reborn in light, the world around you shifts, not because the world itself changes, but because you see through new eyes. When the light fills your sight, darkness loses its authority. As when a lamp is lit, the room remains the same, yet you see clearly. What once seemed threatening now appears harmless. Those you once feared, you now see as souls still searching for light. Light not only heals you, it teaches you to see with compassion. This light also gives you the power to create with me. From now on, you will not only ask for miracles, you will become one. When you speak words infused with light, they carry power. When you bless, true blessing spreads. When you lay your hands in prayer, my energy flows through you. I will work through you, for the light will no longer surround you, but pour through you. This is true unity, not religion, but heaven's living current flowing through a willing vessel. My child, light does not come to make you supernatural, but to make you authentic. All that light does is peel away the dust, hiding your true nature, the soul I created in glory. When you understand this, you will cease to chase validation, cease to compare, and begin to walk lightly, yet powerfully, knowing who lives within you. You will stop proving your worth because light itself is proof. Remember, light never leaves the faithful. Even when you feel dim, it remains like the sun behind thick clouds. When you pray and feel nothing, when you worship without tears, the light still moves quietly. It does not depend on emotion to exist. It is the essence of truth. When your faith stands firm in silence, the light burns brightest. One day I will teach you to wield light as a weapon of peace. When darkness presses upon your mind, do not fight with words. Simply open your heart to the light, Imagine it expanding from your spirit, filling your body, radiating into the space around you. My light is not symbolic, it is spiritual reality. It makes the enemy powerless, for darkness cannot exist in the presence of light. When you are in me, you dwell within an impenetrable field of radiance. I am opening your eyes to see that light is the very breath of the universe. All life depends on it. When you inhale, you do not merely take in air, you receive the energy of my light. When you exhale, you do not merely release tension, you send light into the world. Learn to breathe with the light. Inhale life, exhale grace. When you do this, you are living as one who belongs to the celestial realm, a being of heaven's rhythm, dwelling in earthly form. My beloved child, rebirth in light is the journey of awakened consciousness. It is not a single miracle in a fleeting instant, but a daily unfolding, a continual expansion into radiance. Light keeps coming and you keep widening to receive it. Each act of forgiveness extends the light. Each moment of gratitude deepens it. Each expression of love strengthens it. And one day you will realize that you no longer merely live in the light, you are the light itself. The light I give is not only a lamp to guide your steps, but the seal of union. When you walk in the light, you do not merely draw near to me, you become one with me. For light cannot be divided. It dissolves the line between the source and what it touches. When my light meets your soul, the boundary between creator and creation begins to fade, not to erase you, but to complete you in me. Many think light is the reward of the righteous, but in truth, light is a relationship. It is not a one-time gift, but a continuous exchange between me and you. When you open your heart, light flows in. When you live in love, light flows out. In every breath you commune with me. Inhale the breath of heaven, exhale the light of life. You are no longer a seeker of light, you are its bearer. Light does not fall upon you merely, so you may be seen. It shines through you so that the world may see me. When you are reborn in light, everything you do bears heaven's imprint. You need no banner, no declaration, only a pure heart. Through your quiet presence, my light will speak. A merciful glance, a gentle word, an act of grace, each becomes the language of light. I did not create you merely to survive the darkness, but to shine within it. For darkness will never fully vanish from the world, it retreats only when light appears. So do not pray for me to remove all darkness from your life. Pray instead that your light grows stronger. Darkness is only the backdrop that makes radiance visible. I allowed you to walk through long nights not to punish you, but to teach you how to carry a torch for others. When you live in light, your reactions change. Instead of fear, you listen. Instead of judgment, you understand. Instead of fixing others, you shine, so they may see themselves. For light does not argue, it reveals. When you rest in peace, you are teaching without words. When you forgive, you perform miracles without rituals. When you love, you release heaven's power upon the earth. My child, the light within you is the bridge between heaven and earth. Wherever you go, it will travel with you on your path, in your home, in your work. I do not bless you merely for your comfort. I bless you so that through you I may touch the world. As you walk in light, you carry my presence into places where my name is unknown, into souls that have forgotten hope. But be wise with the glory that light brings, for light also attracts. Some will be drawn to your glow, yet not all who come seek the source. Discern who comes for life and who only for warmth. Love all but belong fully only to me. For the light in you cannot be sustained by applause, it is sustained only by abiding in me. Light will also expose what is hidden, not only in you, but in others. When you shine, some will retreat, some will awaken, some will resist. But do not let their reactions dim you. Light does not change its brightness because others close their eyes. Keep shining even in silence, for true light requires no audience. I see, and I am enough. Child light is the bloodstream of the soul. It flows not just in the heart, but through every action you take. When you are faithful, it rushes strong. When you lose hope, it wanes. But the moment you whisper, "Lord, remain in me," the current rekindles with brilliance. For my light does not depend on circumstance. It depends on surrender. And remember, light has sound, a tone heard only by the Spirit. It is the sound of peace, the sound of truth, the sound of unshakable love. When your mind is still, you will hear it. It will lead you to the place where fear dissolves, where everything within you sings in harmony with heaven. In light there is no conflict, only the union of your will with mine. When you reach this place, you will know that the light no longer passes through you, it is you. The reborn soul no longer stands apart from its source, but mirrors it perfectly. When you love, it is I loving through you. When you speak about life, it is my whisper. When you open your arms, it is my embrace. There is no longer you and I, but we, burning, shining, loving, giving life as one. This is the ultimate purpose of rebirth: union in light. Not union in doctrine or ritual, but in essence. You do not have to struggle to hold me close, for light cannot be separated from its source. When you are in me, you live in an eternal flow, where there is no must do, only be. There your soul rests yet remains fully alive. There love becomes instinct, for it is the nature of light itself. You will witness small miracles unfold, flowers blooming where there was barrenness, doors opening where walls once stood, hearts once cold becoming warm. It is not the world that has changed, but the light within you, transforming the way the world responds. For light carries the frequency of creation, and wherever it moves, life follows. When the light in you reaches its fullness, you will become a keeper of the flame for generations to come. The lost will find direction through you. The weary will draw strength from you. The hopeless will find faith in your words, not because of your power, but because the light within you has reached the purity of love itself. You will no longer need to do, you will simply be. This light is the inheritance I have placed upon you. It is not merely a mark of redemption, but the crown of glory. As you walk in light, you carry the mantle of the chosen, not to rule but to serve. For true light does not rise above, it permeates. It does not control, it frees. It does not boast, it transforms quietly. It does not cling, it spreads. That is the power of my light within you. And when the final day arrives, when the world's lamps grow dim, the light within you will merge with my eternal radiance. Then there will no longer be I am with you, but you are in me. No more distance, no more words, only endless brilliance, where every reborn soul shines within the boundless glory of the Creator. And I will call your name not with sound, but with the everlasting beam that began it all. My beloved child, everything I have done within you, every purifying fire, every renewing light, has led to one single purpose: union. Not the union of reason or emotion, but the union of essence. When I created you, I placed within you a fragment of myself, so that through every season, every trial, every ache, you would find your way back to the source. And now I say to you, the time has come. Your soul has learned to stand in the fire, to walk in the light. Now I call you home into the union of peace. Union is not dissolution, it is harmony. Just as water merges with the ocean yet remains itself, so will you merge with me without losing what makes you unique. I do not wish to erase you, I desire to fulfill you. The aim of love is never to consume but to complete. Thus when I say, you in me and I in you, it is not a promise of loss, it is a promise of wholeness. You once lived, divided your body, pulled one way, your mind another, your soul elsewhere. But in union, every part of you will move to the same rhythm. Your breath will flow with mine. Your heartbeat will echo heaven's pulse. Every thought, every emotion will align with the quiet brilliance of peace the world cannot give. This is the glory of union, not a spectacle outside, but a radiant stillness within. This union is not something to reach for, but something to remember. For I have never left you. When you prayed, I was there. When you were silent, I remained. When you wandered, I walked beside you. When you stood firm, I was in your breath. From the beginning, I wove the fibers of your soul into my own rhythm. Only your eyes had not yet learned to see, your heart had not yet learned to hear. But now, in the light of rebirth, you are awakening. Union begins not with doing, but with awareness. When you pause long enough to hear your heartbeat, you will hear mine within it. When you gaze at the sky, you will realize it is not far away, for the same breath that formed the clouds flows through your lungs. Every boundary you once believed in, between sacred and ordinary, between spirit and flesh, between heaven and earth, exists only in the old perception. In me, all is one. Remember my words in John 1:7-1, that they may all be one as you, Father, are in me, and I in you, that they also may be in us. This is not merely a prayer of the Savior. It is the echo of eternity, a call inviting you back into the symphony of love. For when you dwell in union, you are no longer just one who has been saved. You are one who collaborates with heaven. You do not merely live, you give life. You do not merely receive grace, you become its channel. Union does not eliminate pain, it transforms it. In union, pain ceases to be an enemy and becomes a messenger, reminding you that somewhere in your soul still longs for me. When you learn to see pain through the lens of union, it no longer threatens. It becomes a doorway. Every breaking becomes a meeting point where I enter. Every crack in your vessel becomes an opening where light leaks out and the world sees me through your wounds. In union, every movement carries meaning. Nothing is wasted or accidental. Even a tear is gathered into my golden bowl. Even a weary sigh becomes a prayer. When you live in union, you no longer ask, why? Because you begin to see me in all things. In joy, I smile. In trial, I teach. In silence, I love. And in every seemingly meaningless moment, I am weaving eternal purpose. Know this union does not remove you from the world, it sends you back into it with a transformed heart. You are not called to withdraw from life, but to bring heaven into it. When you are one with me, you become an instrument of peace. People will not merely hear you speak of me, they will see me in you. You will no longer preach with arguments, but with presence. No longer with words, but with eyes, gestures, breath, and the way you listen. Everything in you will reflect the tenderness of the one you dwell within. When you are truly united with me, you will see every soul as carrying my imprint. You will no longer compare or judge, for you will know they too are on their way home. Forgiveness will cease to be duty and become the natural reflex of light. You will look upon those who hurt you and say, I see the hand of God reaching for you too. That is freedom. Freedom from hatred. Freedom from separation. Child union is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a new life. When your soul has merged with mine, you will begin to live with heaven's awareness in this world. You will hear my voice in the wind, see my glory in a stranger's smile, feel my life in the smallest detail. Every flower will become a sermon, every sunset a prophecy, every moment a sacred liturgy of the present. Union is the breath of glory. It requires no grand miracles, no supernatural displays, only your being in me, and that is glory enough. For true glory does not come from applause, it flows from presence. When you dwell in union, every place you step becomes a sanctuary. Every conversation becomes a prayer. Every footprint leaves peace behind. And I, your God, will look upon you and smile, not because you are flawless, but because you have come home. Coming home is not merely returning to the source, it is being found in love. There is no distance between you and me. No God above and you below, only us within each other. You in my light, and I in your breath, forever inseparable one. My beloved child, when your soul truly unites with me, everything around you begins to change. You no longer need to try to bring transformation. Your very presence carries the atmosphere of heaven. For union is not an idea. It is the vibration of the Holy Spirit. When you dwell in me, your frequency aligns with the frequency of creation itself. Wherever you go, what was dead will live, what was barren will bloom, and what was chaotic will fall into divine order. Look back at those whom I chose throughout history. Moses needed only to stand upon the mountain with me, and his face shone so brightly that the people had to cover their eyes. Not because he tried to shine, but because I was within him. Elijah needed only to pray, and the heavens opened and fire fell, not because his words were powerful, but because he spoke from oneness. Even my son, when he walked upon the earth, never had to display his power. Every cell of his being was one with the will of the Father. That is the secret of miracles, not human strength, but perfect union. Child, union makes you a living lamp. Even without physical light, your soul will radiate. Every time you pray, my energy spreads into the space around you. Others may not understand why peace fills them when they are near you, but they are touching the frequency of unity. It is not holiness that makes you revered. It is the peace within you that reveals another reality, the reality of heaven. Union does more than bring peace to your own heart. It reorders the atmosphere of cities, families, even generations. When one person steps into true union, darkness does not just leave that person, it withdraws from the ground beneath their feet. For light is never still. It moves, flows, expands, and touches places where words cannot yet reach. A single soul united with me can accomplish more than 1,000 sermons, for their very existence becomes a testimony of my glory. Union is the root of true power. Heaven's strength does not flow through striving, but through harmony. As water reflects the sun, only when it is still so, my power reflects only through the soul at rest in me. When you cease to prove, cease to control, and simply abide in my presence, that power will move effortlessly, not from effort, but from being. I have placed within you an influence you have not yet recognized. Every thought united with me is a beam of light sent into the spiritual atmosphere. Every silent act of love releases waves that cause heaven and earth to tremble together. When you forgive, that energy breaks the chains of resentment that have lingered over generations. When you give thanks, heaviness dissolves from the air around you. When you sing and worship, dry ground in others' hearts begins to soften. You think you are merely praying, but you are reshaping the spiritual climate. The world longs for unity but does not know its secret. It seeks connection through intellect, through compromise, through temporary bonds, but only union, in my spirit, brings true peace. When you walk with a united soul, you no longer need to preach. You become the sermon. When you forgive in a world obsessed with revenge, you are the message. When you love in an age of apathy, you are living proof that I am still alive. This union has an even deeper effect. It heals the legacy of bloodlines. The burdens, curses, and patterns that have cycled through generations will stop with you. For when you unite with me, divine current replaces genetic current. The old blood ceases to rule, and new blood, the life of my spirit, begins to flow. Then you are no longer merely the child of earthly parents. You bear the imprint of your heavenly Father. When you live in union, your mind becomes a channel of revelation. You will begin to hear what I am speaking upon the earth. I will show you what others cannot yet see. Doors opening, hearts awakening, lands being called forth. You will no longer live by the news of the world, but by the rhythm of heaven. And as you act upon that rhythm, even the physical realm will respond. Mountains will shift, winds will cease, doors will open, for the universe recognizes the voice of the one with whom you are united. There have been moments in history when I needed only one soul in union to redirect the destiny of a nation. Joseph in the prison, Daniel in the lion's den, Esther in the palace, and now you in this generation. Not because you are flawless, but because you are willing. The world does not need more noise, it needs the light of souls that have merged with me. And you, my chosen one, are among them. When you are united with me, every word you speak carries the weight of eternity. One blessing from your lips can alter someone's destiny. One silent prayer can save a life you will never meet. One smile can hold a weary soul back from the edge. Never underestimate the power of union, for when you are in me, even the smallest gesture becomes a miracle. My beloved child, in union, time and space become servants. You are no longer bound by physical limits. The prayer you speak here can reach across oceans. The mercy flowing from your heart can touch those whose names you have never known. For the Holy Spirit is the living network of the universe, and when you are united with Him, you touch all things. You need not travel far. You can change the world simply by having a soul that beats in rhythm with mine. Child, walk as one who carries union. When you speak, let your voice carry peace. When you act, let love be your motion. When you are present, let the stillness within you calm the storm around you. You do not need echoes, for the resonance of your soul is already vast. Waves of grace flow invisibly from you, reaching places unseen, soothing hearts unknown. A soul in union is an anchor for the world. When everything trembles, you will stand firm. When others panic, you will radiate peace. When darkness rises, you will not be swept away, for you are anchored in eternal reality. The world will come to you not for explanations, but because they see the light of the answer shining within you. Each time you choose love over fear, listening over debate, compassion over judgment, all of heaven rejoices. For every small act of yours is proof that union is winning. You are the victory of light in a divided world, the living evidence that peace still has its people, the sign that I am still moving among humankind. So never doubt your impact. One united soul can awaken an entire generation. One word spoken in due season can free a nation from fear. One faithful heart can redirect the flow of history. And I have chosen you not because you are strong, but because I am strong in you, my beloved. Now that your journey is fulfilled, I speak to you in the voice of peace. No longer with the thunder of fire or the blinding flash of vision, but with radiant stillness where the soul rests within my heart. This is the reward of those who have endured the trial, who believed through silence, who kept the flame through fierce winds, and who loved even when misunderstood. This is the kingdom not built by stones or raised by human hands, but engraved upon the hearts of those who have become one with me. When I look upon you, I see not merely one who has been healed, but a living temple. For when I restored you, I did not just mend what was broken. I built a sanctuary where I myself could dwell. Not the temple in Jerusalem, nor any human shrine, but in your breath, in your heartbeat, in the quiet prayers you lift. You no longer need to search for me in crowds. I am already within you. With every breath you exhale, heaven resounds with the harmony of union. True glory is not the light that surrounds the body, but the light that shines from the soul. The world will look at you and wonder why you remain calm in storms, why you smile without reason, why you still love though wounded. They will not be able to explain it, but their spirits will know. This is one who has met God. In perfect union, fear dissolves, for fear can only exist where separation remains. When you are in me, there is no tomorrow to worry about, no yesterday to regret, only the eternal now where I am. There you no longer grasp for the future, for it rests in my hands. You no longer resent the past, for it now serves my present glory. You live free from the weight of time because you have stepped into the dimension of eternity. I give you peace without condition. Not the kind of peace that depends on calm circumstances, but peace that stands amid turmoil. Not peace that needs a reason, but peace born of union itself. For when you are in me, there is no place safer, no plan surer, no love deeper. Every storm around you only proves one thing: I have never left you. I have seen your path from the early days of fear, through the long nights of silence to the mornings of new light. I have watched every moment you chose forgiveness over bitterness, faith over despair, courage over retreat. None of those choices were wasted. Each one became a stone in the pathway of union. Every step, every tear, every whispered prayer, they have all become light before my throne. When you are united with me, you become the current of glory itself. You are not only a receiver, you are a bearer. You will find that your words no longer fall empty. Your gaze will reach deeper than language, and a gentle touch from you will quiet the storms within another's heart. Not because of your power, but because I have blended myself into you. This is the greatness of union. It makes the ordinary soul a carrier of heaven. Do not think of union as a reward for the few. It is an invitation for all. Yet only those who dare to let go can truly receive it. For union cannot come to a soul still clinging to control. You have learned the art of release, letting go of plans, expectations, and control, only to receive everything anew. What you thought was loss was only transformation. Like a seed falling into the ground, it seemed to disappear, but it was rising into new life. My child, when your soul merges with the Spirit, it becomes impossible to tell where your voice ends and mine begins. When you speak words of love, it is I speaking through you. When you pray for others, it is my Spirit interceding through your breath. When you sit in silent compassion, it is I wrapping them in my presence. So do not be troubled if your words grow few, or if you feel no need to speak much. In union, presence speaks louder than speech. When the world encounters a soul in union, it will know me not by argument but by experience. When you enter a room, peace will follow. When you smile, hope will awaken. When you look with my eyes, others will see themselves loved. This is how I conquer the world, not with armies, but through united souls who carry peace wherever they go. My beloved child, and when this time passes, when you have finished the race, you will not leave me to come to me, for you were never apart from me. Death will no longer be an ending, but only a thin veil being drawn aside. You will see that eternity had already begun long before, and you were living within it each day without realizing it. When the eyes of the body close, the eyes of the soul will open, and the first thing you will see will not be a distant heaven, but the familiar face of love. This is my final word to you. I am in you, you are in me, and we are one. No more separation. No more far or near. No more beginning or end. Only the eternal present of life. You are my temple, my ray of light, my breath, my reflection. And when the world looks upon you, they will see that I am still alive. Go forth then in peace. Do not fear what is to come, for I am already within it. Do not worry about what lies ahead, for I have gone before you. Do not cling to what is past, for I have redeemed it. Live fully in this moment, for this is where heaven and earth meet. Every heartbeat in union is a pulse of eternity, a glimpse of an unshakable kingdom. And you will see union is not the end, but the doorway into infinity. Each soul united becomes a flame that kindles another. Each beam of light joins to form a radiant sky. Then this world will blaze with the brilliance of countless souls returning home. And I, the Lord of life, will rest in the joy of my children gathered once more. Thank you for listening to this message today. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so we may continue to receive living words together, build unshakable faith, and walk in the boundless love of God. Amen.